Resilient Jenkins are the worst parents on TikTok. Not only do you have 5 kids sleeping in a 1-bedroom apartment to the point where they're sleeping in the damn kitchen, you get evicted from said 1-bedroom apartment and decide to live in a motel? What? This ain't The Walking Dead season 1. What are you doing? And it's honestly a sad situation for the children here because they have to grow up in this terrible environment due to how their parents are acting.
It's really ridiculous.
Yo, what's going on, guys? 𝕤𝕬𝕝7 here. We're back at it talking about the worst parents on all of TikTok. If you guys don't know, there's a page on TikTok that's been going pretty viral in which is this family called the Resilient Jenkins, all right? This family consists of a dad named Drew and a mother named Stephanie and 5 other children. Now, you would think that this is a love story. The kids are happy. The parents are happy. Everybody's happy, right? Well, no. This is maybe one of the most concerning TikTok pages I've ever seen in my life, in which this family and the children that are part of this family are living in extreme poverty due to their parents' neglect.
Damn.
So like I said, guys, there's 2 parents in this situation, Drew and Stephanie. Drew and Stephanie fell in love and they chose to live with each other, right? Drew in this case is living in a government housing apartment in which is a 1-bedroom apartment built for just him and his son. Stephanie, with her own 2 kids, decides to move in with Drew, in which now they are a happy family of 5 living in this 1-bedroom apartment being housed by the government. So you guys would think that the parents in this situation are responsible, all right? They've got 3 children living in this 1-bedroom apartment, and you would think that they would go out and get jobs. No, not only do they not go out and get jobs, they decide to have 2 children of their own together, in which now there are 7 human beings living in this 1-bedroom apartment. She's got videos up of her taking out the dining room table
to make room for the kids so that they'll be able to have somewhere to sleep.
As you can read in the caption above, we're a family of 6 going on 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Now, you remember what I said about how this is a government housing apartment and it was made for only 2 people, Drew and his son. Government housing programs are really strict on the amount of people that can live in one apartment. So over time, guess what happens? The government finds out and they eventually send out an eviction notice to Drew here, the person that has his name under the apartment. Mind you, you remember what I said on how they don't have jobs? These jokers weren't even paying the rent for months.
You gotta be ashamed of yourself.
On top of that, the man in this situation, Drew, refuses to work a job. My brother in Christ is not working any type of 9 to 5. He's working 9 to PS5 because every single time we see him, he's on a video game talking to the homies.
Gotcha.
Bro, and this entire situation is so crazy because this said account on TikTok makes thousands of dollars a month. I make TikToks online and I can tell you that this person's page right here is racking in bank off these videos. Every single video that this page has over millions of views. But what's not making sense to me is that how you're getting paid off these TikToks, but you're still getting evicted to the point where you don't know where you're going to live. So eventually the day comes in which they get evicted. They pack up all their belongings in this apartment and they move their kids out of it. And guess where they decide to live? They decide to move their 5 children that are all under the age of 12 into a motel.
Yes, this all looks nominal. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Have you been able to get the beverage machine to work yet? How interesting. Just look at that.
I mean, damn, come on, bro.
Come to find out, they had 2 cats living with them in the apartment, and Stephanie here makes a video talk about, oh, well, I'm just gonna let the cats roam outside.
After debating for some time, we decided we will not have indoor cats when we move. But we feel now it's just the best interest in all of our family members to have them just be outdoor kitties.
Nobody is safe in the responsibilities of these 2 terrible parents. Even the cats are getting evicted.
Damn.
Now, luckily, people on TikTok found the cats and took them into their own households, but here's where the story gets a little weird, right? Stephanie in one of her videos says that her mother offered to have them live with her.
Fuck no, I will not be taking my mom up on her offer on me and my kids going to stay with her. That is just not gonna happen. That lady popping up right now, just, it sickens me, honestly. And that's all I'm saying about that, because a part of me that's healed on everything that she brought on my past just does not want to spend any time on her.
So let me get this straight. Your mother offered you and your 5 children and your non-working ass husband to live in her household so that you don't have to live in a motel, but you decide to decline that offer because you're prideful?
I can't co-sign that, big brother.
You're ear to ear smiling in a U-Haul truck after being evicted with your 5 children and your bummy ass non-working husband in a motel. In the midst of them moving into this motel, people online found out what motel they were living in and got them kicked out.
I find it interesting you follow us around public and don't want to say hi. You also bold in them comments, but you won't say nothing to our faces. And that's not even enough. Y'all had to make a bunch of hateful, untrue calls to the hotel we're staying at and get us kicked out. How the f miserable you gotta be in your own life to come at a family that's not doing anything to you?
Now, I'll be the one to say that that's kind of insane. Having people follow you around in public, as she said in the video, and having people find out where you're living and get you kicked out of your living situation with your children is absolutely insane, and I'm not gonna justify that. I think that's fucking crazy, because now the living situation they're in is very unknown, in which they might be homeless. The situation has gotten so bad that her kids at school are being recognized from the videos. And on top of that, Drew's baby mama has gotten involved, Stephanie's mother has gotten involved, and it's became something completely disturbing. There's a ton of TikTokers that base their entire page around the resilient Jenkins content. There's one girl on here that was literally making videos every single day, counting down the eviction on the day that they were gonna get evicted from the apartment.
Y'all can sit up and talk about Ash Trevino every single day, all day. But I make videos about the resilient Jenkins, and y'all sit there and have a damn fit.
Take it down.
Because in the grand scheme of all this, the individuals that get the short end of the stick here are the children. Because those children don't get to live a normal life like their friends at school due to how irresponsible their parents are. They didn't choose to be on camera. They didn't choose to live in this circumstance. They didn't choose who their parents were. And unfortunately, they have to bear the mark of this poverty mindset and this poverty living because of their parents. Their mother and father don't want to work a job. Every time we see the dad, he's on the game. He got a headset on. Stephanie thought it was a great idea to move her own children into a 1-bedroom apartment that is being housed by the government. On top of that, you choose to have 2 more children in that 1-bedroom apartment. This is absolutely insane, and it's totally irresponsible by these 2 grown adults. These aren't 20-year-olds. These aren't 22-year-olds. These aren't 24-year-olds. These are 2 grown adults with a functioning brain that decided to have children in this world that they don't even know what they're doing in. Bro, and it's so ridiculous because this situation could have been entirely avoided. You're making well over $10,000 a month off TikTok, and you're telling me you couldn't find a place to house your children? And on top of that, your own mother said that she would house you and your family, but you instead denied that and say that you're too prideful.
Who is responsible for this mess?
And on top of that, you have now made your living standards entirely harder. For all my young viewers out there, let me bring you some information on the real world once you grow up. Once you get evicted from an apartment, it becomes entirely harder to find another apartment. When you get an eviction notice in an apartment, the landlord makes a complaint in court, and it goes all the way through the legal system, eventually coming to a judge in which they send out the eviction notice to you. An eviction stays on your record for 7 years. So once you try to apply for another apartment, apartments are most likely going to deny you because you got evicted. Now, in the case of the Jenkins family, this is horrible because they have 5 children, in which now it is going to be entirely harder for you to find housing for those 5 children because of the irresponsibilities that you and your husband have done. This is such a horrible situation that shouldn't even be documented. You're getting evicted from your apartment with your 5 children and your bummy ass husband, and you decide to document that? You think that's something to be prideful for on the internet? You're gonna document the eviction of your kids for a bag? It pisses me off so much because how fucking ridiculous this entire thing is. But man, that's all I really want to talk about, bro. I saw this situation unfolding on TikTok, and I wanted to talk about it because, damn, bro, nobody's talking about the kids in this situation and how they're gonna feel. Because if Child Protective Services gets involved, they're gonna split this entire family up because of the irresponsibilities of their own fucking parents. It's such a real-world, stupid incident that it honestly pisses me off, man. But yeah, lads, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop a like on this, subscribe, and yeah, lads, I'll see you boys in the next one, man. Peace.
My God, what are you doing?